What's up, house groups? I'm coming to you from quarantine because coronavirus finally caught up with me. After like 2 years of the pandemic, I was starting to wonder if maybe I'm Teflon and it'll never catch me, and I was wrong. I'm doing okay, but it kind of feels like I won the Pandemic Lifetime Achievement Award I was trying desperately never to win. So that's a lot of fun. But I'm grateful because on Sunday we heard an awesome message from Josh the Cook. And I personally resonated deeply with his observation that living in a place where you're surrounded by Vikings fans is its own particular type of suffering. But really, he shared an incredible story of hope in the middle of heartbreak. And I'd encourage you, if you weren't there Sunday or you haven't had the chance to watch online, to go check that out. Because hope in the middle of heartbreak is something all of us are going to need at some point in our lives. And it's what this middle section of Romans chapter 8 that we're on right now in our Fresh Wind series is all about. Paul basically asks the question, how can we surrender and let the Spirit lead us to a place of hope in the middle of a world that is this messed up and this broken? And he writes something incredible. He says, I consider that our present sufferings are not even worth comparing to the glory that will one day be revealed in us. He says, like, by the power of Spirit, or the power of the Holy Spirit, even in the middle of our pain, we can be a people who live with incredible hope, because our suffering does not get to write the final chapter of our story. For us, this is not the end. And what I love about this so much is I think every faith system in the world, whether it's religious or irreligious, basically attempts to do one of two things with the very real experience of pain in our world. It either attempts to deny the reality of pain. Say pain is just a construct in our minds and we got to get over it and believe that it's not real, or it attempts to numb the feeling of pain by giving us chemicals or substances or some sort of mental gymnastics so that we don't feel the pain anymore. And Christianity does neither of those things. Paul here isn't saying that our pain isn't real. Paul here isn't giving us some sort of numbing agent to just get over it and not think about it. Paul is saying our pain is real. All of creation is suffering. Everything about our world is broken, and so the experience of hurt and the sense inside of us that something better than this has to be real, all of that is real. All of that is true, and in the middle of feeling it, we don't need to escape it. We just need to have hope that it isn't the end. And man, it's so incredible, because what Paul's trying to do here is anchor us in victory. Both past victory and future victory, the victory of the cross and the victory of the day that's coming when God sets all things right and makes all things new. We're living at this paradoxical moment in the history of God and humanity where there's an already and a not yet. There's this already of what Jesus has already done. Like, the battle has already been won over sin and death and brokenness, but the world is not yet set all the way right and made all the way new. But because of what has already happened, we can cling to the not yet, no matter what we're going through in this life. And I hold on to that very dearly in the middle of my own suffering, in the middle of the things in my life that are not the way that I want them to be. And I love so much the ability that gives me to wait eagerly and hope expectantly, because I know that pain is temporary, even though it's real. I mean, it hurts. There's no use pretending it doesn't. I particularly love the imagery that Paul uses here of childbirth. He says, look, it hurts. I don't know how many of you have ever been in a delivery room, but any one of us who ever has, particularly those who've given birth, can tell you the pain is real. It's not fake and it's not made up. But what happens on the other side of that pain is worth it. And that's the picture Paul paints here. He says, no, the pain is actual. It hurts. And I'm not trying to tell you that it doesn't hurt, but I'm trying to tell you that what's coming on the other side is so beautiful that the pain is like an afterthought. Just like childbirth, what's coming on the other side is so beautiful that the pain is like an afterthought. And so, like, I want to encourage us to walk back out into a hurting world knowing that that's true. I thought one of the most profound things Josh mentioned about his brother Brent's story was this idea that the world can take a whole lot of things from us. The world can even take our lives and the lives of the people that we love, but the one thing that cannot be taken from us is our hope and trust in God and His love. You guys, the world is a messed up place. And if we're not suffering now, we will be in ways that are small and big and varied. And the pain is always going to be real. But we need to remember we are not fighting for victory. We are fighting from victory. The victory has already been won. And so we can cling to this hope that our suffering is not the final chapter of our story. And what cannot be taken from us is our trust in the love and the goodness and the presence of God in the middle of our pain. And if we hold on to that, we can live in a way that is so radically countercultural that people take note and people find and get pointed toward the love of God and the hope in God that they are desperate for in the middle of their pain. The world may not be the way that we want it to be yet, but it's coming because God is at work to set all things right and make all things new.